It's a Thanksgiving Day edition of SB Nation Radio.
I would love to come to your Thanksgiving dinner, and I'll bring a date and a 12-pack just like the Pilgrims.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Here's Eytan Shander.
Cowboys skins underway, and a lot at stake right now in Dallas, especially if you look at the latest edition of Amari Cooper and what he's been able to do for the Dallas Cowboys. Bottom of this hour, we'll touch base in New Orleans with Larry Holder, one, if not the best guys out there to cover the New Orleans Saints in and out of this team for years. Also, as I mentioned, and I thought that I might have convinced Bobby Beats before the break about where I stand with pie, but it took like 2 or 3 minutes in that break, I feel like, to bring you back at least to where you kind of understood where I was coming from. I'm still not convinced that you agree with me. I feel like at the very least you've settled for, oh, okay, Shander's not at least crazy. I can kind of understand where he's coming from. Is that an accurate depiction of what our last conversation was?
And I wouldn't say all that, but I understand what you're saying, though. Honestly, I do understand what you're saying.
Well, the thing about pie is it's just I feel like it's a very designated dessert for special occasions, like holidays, for example, family gatherings. And we were looking at different examples. And when you go out to eat at a restaurant, for example, and you have a very nice meal, you and the family go out, and you look at the dessert cart, the menu that comes out, maybe something along those lines, and you see a lemon meringue, or not a lemon meringue, that's a pie. You see like a dark chocolate forest. You see like a different type of, like a raspberry cake. Like you see all these different types of cake-type products, maybe an ice cream, a fruit, this type of different dessert that comes your way, sorbet. But how often is a piece of pie on the menu? It's very rare, even if that. That's all I was saying.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
No, I wasn't coming at you. I was just saying in general, like, I feel like there are a lot of other people, because you represent the reason and logic in the audience, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're the rudder of the show. So if you're looking at me with, you know, like the rock eyebrow up, like, what's this dude talking about here with the pies? I want to make sure that we're back on there. It's up there on SBNation.com. Apple pie #1, pumpkin 2, pecan 3, and this is what I love. Tom Ziller has sweet potato as #4. Now, I would move that up even higher, but at least it's not underrated. Coming up, the Dallas Cowboys on fire. I'll tell you why. Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio.
Renowned medical correspondent and endurance race champion, Bob Arnott, MD.
People ask me, how do you keep competing at the age of 70? Healthy living is important, but so is pain relief. If you have pain, you can't train. So I'm thrilled I discovered Salonpas Lidocaine Plus. This unique topical pain reliever contains 2 safe and effective anesthetics. Nothing has worked better for me.
Salonpas Lidocaine Plus, cream or roll-on.
Why stand on the sidelines when you could be getting paid to play? The NBA season's back, and there is no better time to make sure you're betting with BetDSI.com. It's one of the most reliable and profitable online sportsbooks. Bet on the NFL, NCAA football, Major League Baseball, UFC, NBA, and more. It's your one-stop shop for everything. Along with super quick payouts and bonuses, BetDSI's live features allow you to watch your team before you even bet. They even match any deposit you make up to $1,000. Play big, win big, and get paid anytime. Now, anyone can get a 100% bonus, but when you sign up at BetDSI.com using our code, you'll get an extra 25%, 125% bonus. Join the winning team. Sign on to BetDSI.com. Use promo code WIN125. That is WIN125. You'll more than double your bet. Don't leave money on the table. Log on to BetDSI.com. Use our code WIN125. That's BetDSI.com. Use code WIN125.
Shop Black Friday deals at Lowe's for big savings on the perfect gift for the tool lover on your list. Buy a DeWalt 2-tool 20-volt max cordless combo kit for just $199 and get a DeWalt XR 20-volt max oscillating tool kit free. That's a $139 value. Stop by or shop online at Lowes.com. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 11/22 through 11/29. Battery and charger not included with free item. While supplies last, U.S. only.
The wait is finally over. Dell's biggest Black Friday ever is on. Save up to 50% on Black Friday deals, plus get free shipping on everything. With massive deals on Dell computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors, the hottest gaming gear, and savings on top brand electronics like Samsung TVs, it's the one sale of the year you don't want to miss. Just call 800-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/Black Friday. Quantities are limited. Call 800-BUY-DELL for more Black Friday deals.
Do you ever wonder how we're streaming millions of movies on demand or doing our banking from the beach? And how are we watching a live mission from Mars? Smart business minds dreamed these ideas, and Amazon Web Services is how they built them. With the broadest functionality and the most experience, the leading enterprises trust the AWS cloud to build the next big idea. Are you ready to build it? Learn more at awsishow.com.
Waited to the last minute to do your gift shopping? No problem. Head over to giftingmap.com today to see the amazing curated collection of gifts and gifting ideas that the team has assembled for you. Giftingmap.com. Your map to great gifting. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us at SB Nation Radio. Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander.
First quarter's in the books. Cowboys up 7-0 over the Skins, and we go right down to Dallas as Bobby Belt joins us at Bobby Belt TX on Twitter is how you can find him. He's going to join us now and an hour from now, doing a fantastic job as a stringer, updating us on what's happening with this game. And Bobby, Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio, appreciate the time. What's been the biggest difference that you've seen? Colt McCoy, this first time around, he's beaten this team before, but now you saw in the first quarter, it looked like the pass rush of the Dallas Cowboys was all over McCoy.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, pardon me.
Colt McCoy, he is starting in place of Alex Smith today. His last victory as a starter was against the Cowboys in 2014. He's not won a game since then. He hasn't started a game since later in 2014. But, McCoy's been under tremendous pressure early in this game. Washington has a banged-up offensive line heading into today. You had, Brandon Sheriff is out with an injury. They've had a lot of patchwork issues. They've had a lot of questionable guys heading into today, and it's shown with the Cowboys pass rush being able to get their hands on some balls, get some sacks, and also to get some tackles for loss against the Redskins. The Redskins did take their second drive of the game into Cowboys territory, came to a halt when McCoy was picked off by Cowboys corner Anthony Brown. And there was a lingering injury question here with Adrian Peterson. He had a shoulder injury. He had gone back to the locker room. He was questionable, but he will return, it appears. So the Redskins will have their running back in this game, and they really can't afford to lose anybody else with Samaje Perine and Chris Thompson both out for this game.
Can you see, the first quarter of a football game, it's tough, but when you have a backup quarterback scenario like with Colt McCoy and he's struggling the way in which he has been so far, has it worn at least body language? Have you seen any signs of just deflation on the Skins this early despite Colt McCoy's bad play?
No, I don't think so. In fact, two of the bigger third down conversions they got were plays thanks to Colt McCoy, scrambling out of pressure, keeping his eyes downfield, being able to hit Jordan Reed on, a couple throws there and get them into Cowboys territory. Yeah, he did have the interception. He has had to, scramble around a little bit, but I think the Redskins are actually probably taking some solace in what they have seen from Colt McCoy at this point, and that he's been able to convert some plays for them in the face of pressure.
Did it really look as easy as it did from the outside down there for Ezekiel Elliott this first quarter?
Oh, yeah. No, that was a free run. It was really just Clinton Dix, who did not have a good angle to pursue Elliott on that touchdown. But, yeah, he was able to waltz right in. And the Cowboys, actually, their offense has looked pretty stellar today, even without the surprising news. Tyron Smith, their perennial all-pro left tackle, was a late scratch. Cameron Fleming, the swing tackle they signed away from the Patriots, has been asked to start today, and he's already given up a sack. He's had some pressure, but otherwise the Cowboys have been able to move the ball pretty well. Dak Prescott's looked calm under pressure, has been able to find Amari Cooper for a couple third down conversions. So Cowboys have to be encouraged by their offense, and I think all things considered, the Redskins have to feel good about Colt McCoy being able to make some plays in the face of pressure.
All right, we appreciate it. Bobby Belt again, at Bobby Belt TX on Twitter. We'll chat in an hour, see what's changed. Thanks again for the update, Bobby. Happy Thanksgiving.
Appreciate it.
You got it. Now you look at injuries moving forward. If it is something that knocks Adrian Peterson or just wears down, we're all looking at Adrian Peterson like he's been revived 3-4 years ago, but this is a team in Washington that is clearly struggling right now. And honestly, you can look at what they've already established pre-injury, but I don't think that there's much belief, even inside the nation capital, but outside specifically, that this team has enough to catch any type of lightning. Now, you can make the argument that Alex Smith going down could open things up, even with an arm like Colt McCoy, but the consistency factor that you get with Alex Smith and a defense that just needs to play somewhat competent in a terrible division. Now, on the flip side, you've got momentum. And this is where it's dangerous, at least in this terrible division. And you really have to look at Washington, Dallas, New York, Philadelphia. These 4 teams that are just awful. They don't play good football, and you're watching 2 divisional opponents go at it today, and it's very rare that you get a true definition even than that. A lot of times you just get an ugly slugfest. Even if it is a high-scoring slugfest, it might be ugly in the means to get to that end. But with Dallas, there's danger. And I think the biggest thing to look at outside of the narrative of Jason Garrett that just continues to fascinate me, especially from looking at it of how long this man might be around coaching the football team, depending on the success, which I think is near inevitable for the Cowboys that they win this division. But the addition of Amari Cooper, and I want you to just look at 2 key pieces of players that were added to teams around the trade deadline. One team ridiculed, the other team just lauded, the other team praised. Philadelphia won the trade deadline. Why? Because they traded a 3rd-round pick for Golden Tate, and they got reassurances, meaning that if he moves on, it's a compensatory pick. It might even bring back a 4th-round pick if Golden Tate walks. That's how great of a deal it was. Howie Roseman struck gold. On the flip side, what were we all doing? And I say we because I was involved as well. Eytan Shander with you, SB Nation Radio at Shander Show is how you get me on Twitter. It was a very simple conclusion that we all reached, and we all had a lot of fun. It was the group think in it, where we all just pointed and laughed at the Dallas Cowboys. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? That's what you spent? You fools, you morons. You set a market that didn't even listen and adhere to it. You just went crazy. It was like something opened up right away, and before you looked around and waited to see what anybody would place a bid on, you just put $1,000. Normally, it's like, all right, let's build up to that $1, $3, $10, $50. Instead, you just came in, all right, $1,000 right away. People looking around like, I wouldn't spend more than $100 on that. It was ridiculous, we thought. Yet here, the Cowboys, the biggest factor, and you can look specifically at 2 teams in the same division that are going in the polar opposite direction, 180. Cowboys riding a wave of momentum. They've won 2 straight. I think they will continue to hold on and win today in Dallas at home against the Skins. 3 straight going into a very difficult game against the Saints. But that's down the line. Right now, it's just get through this game against Washington, which I think they will, 3-0 over the last 3. And now you've got something with momentum, and the biggest difference, 3rd down conversions. Amari Cooper. I don't know who to credit because it's tough for me to just put all the credit on Jason Garrett. There's just something awkward about that. I just can't think to myself, this is all a Jason Garrett production. But there are other people I know involved in this. But think about that. The arrival, it's not just the arrival of Amari Cooper, it's the application of Amari Cooper. It's a threat that they really haven't had since early Des Bryant. It's somebody that you can consistently go to and not just stretch the chains, but convert on 3rd down. And that's why that's why in hindsight you look back and think, maybe I do owe these guys an apology. Maybe I did get it wrong. Yeah, it's pretty easy to laugh at Jerry Jones. I mean, the guy pretty much does or says something every single week that opens up the door to point and laugh at him. But maybe we got this. Maybe it wasn't Jerry Jones. Maybe it was Stephen Jones. Maybe it was somebody else who put a bug in their ear and said, get ahead of this thing right now. But you know what? Credit the coaching staff. A lot of times we point at the coaching staff because it's an easy answer. It's an easy answer to why we're frustrated. Newey Scruggs joined us 40 minutes ago. A lot of heat and a lot of finger pointing at Jason Garrett. Despite the team's success, still, the coaching staff can still have that negative cloud or impact over it. Credit them here. Credit them for turning Dallas now into the favorite. And I don't know how you disagree, especially when they beat Washington today and now split, at least on the surface until the season ends, head-to-head. Look at Dallas as the odds-on favorite to win this slop of a division. But you know what? If their defense can hold, and if their defense can play decent, you don't know what can happen when you control tempo with a running game like they've established. Because it doesn't matter, left tackle or not, Ezekiel Elliott is going to eat. I mean, we know that he is a very talented, unique, special back in the NFL that if you get in a playoff setting, where Dak Prescott is truly, and I mean this in a compliment, truly managing not the game but the tempo, Dallas is dangerous. Now, on the flip side, the Philadelphia Eagles, who were praised bringing in Golden Tate, and take note, as I've mentioned, yes, being here in Philadelphia and an Eagles fan for 33 of my 39 years on the planet, because, for the first 6 years you don't know anything, I am as critical and deservingly so as it gets of my team. My teams. And the Eagles blew it. The Eagles have ruined the addition of Golden Tate. It ain't his fault, I can tell you that. But here's a guy, and specifically in third downs, the Eagles were struggling, mightily struggling when it came to third down conversion. So were the Cowboys. So were the Cowboys before they made that move. And look at the difference. Yes, Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning coach. It's so easy to just tack on to the narrative because we don't ask the deeper question. Well, what's going on? Where's Golden Tate? After one game, it should have been looked at like you only have a running clock of 8 games to use a rental and you blew one. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, it should have been immediate. As soon as we recognize that Amari Cooper and the Dallas Cowboys were a fit, via coaching staff and Cooper making plays, and credit Dak Prescott as well, on the field, it was credit to the coaching staff for using their new tool. And you can see how easy it is for a successful organization, and just because they take a step back this year doesn't mean that ultimately they're not a successful organization in Philadelphia, but you can see just how easy it is for a successful organization to still make a mistake like that, and how easy of a mistake it was to make. My goodness. At Shander Shows How You Get Me, as we continue to update you on what's going on here with the Cowboys and the Skins. This Tiger Phil Mickelson thing is fascinating to me. I will be locked in. I'll be glued into it, but I still am not sure what I'm getting out of it outside of just watching these two guys play golf. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I want to explore that coming up. Kyrie Irving has this nation on fire right now, but as I mentioned yesterday, and people thought I was joking. See, a lot of people on Twitter who were listening and interacting after the show thought that I was joking, making fun of how this holiday has been totally devalued. And I put value in quotes depending on how much value you've put on this holiday in the first place. But it's been totally reduced, to football and food in that order of priority, mind you. When you hear people talk about, wow, this is the best holiday of the year, you're talking about people looking at this as an excuse to now watch 3 straight football games and eat as much as humanly possible. And there's no going out and spending $100, $200, $500 on gifts. Anything you're spending is on food, and that's an immediate return. Yeah, I get it. There might be some sense of sentimental joy in watching a significant other open up an Apple phone, an iPhone X. But the reality is that if you spend $80, $90, $100 on Thanksgiving, you're getting all of that money right back in your body. Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio.
This is Straight Heat.
You ever have like a Chinese star?
No,
you throw them, they're like Chinese
yeah.
On Halloween, I was giving out peanut butter cups, and I was throwing them at people like they were Chinese stars, and I'm just chucking them at people. Little kids come up, and I'm like tossing them like right into their little buckets and whatnot. And as the big kid comes up with it, it's like, boom, I hit him right in the stomach. He's like, oh, what? And he's like, oh, peanut butter cup. And as he goes down to pick it up, I threw another one at him, and it hit right off his, like the side of his body, went right in his bag. And I was that was perfect. Then all the other kids like, oh, throw them at me. So they're throwing out peanut butter cups all over the place at people.
Sounds like you had the time of your life.
So as I walk back in the door, my daughter's like, Dad, are you throwing peanut butter cups at people? And I threw one at her, and I hit her right in the nose by accident. This is why I am the parent that's not allowed to be trusted around all the other kids, because I actually cause more problems than they do.
Straight Heat with Patrick Creighton. Weekday afternoons at 5 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. SB Nation Radio. Check out That Fantasy Football Show with Chris Tubbs. Thursday nights and Sunday mornings on SB Nation Radio. Each week, Chris gives you a unique and in-depth look at what's going on in the NFL. He'll break it down from all angles with news, notes, and nuggets you need to win your fantasy football league. Got a question? Then follow Chris on Twitter @CMTubbs. It's That Fantasy Football Show. Thursday nights at 8 Eastern and Sunday mornings at 11 Eastern. Only on SB Nation Radio. This is Over the Night with Matt Harrop.
It is not weird to put ketchup on mac and cheese. You can put ketchup on absolutely anything. Bobby Beats, I do the same thing. I feel like me and Patrick Mahomes should have dinner together one time. And we could have ketchup on ketchup on ketchup on ketchup, and it would be a great dinner. And now Heinz has some kind of a deal with Patrick Mahomes, right? If he throws how many touchdown passes?
57.
57? That's a lot of touchdowns.
Even Peyton Manning didn't have that.
That would be an NFL record, right?
Yeah, that would be. I think he just had 50, 51, but 57, that's a lot of touchdowns. You have to throw at least 6 every game from now.
6 every game? Is that the math? Did you just do math? All right, Patrick Mahomes, I'm cheering for you, man. And from one ketchup lover to another, go get your free ketchup, man. And there's nothing wrong with have you ever tried it on mac and cheese? Don't knock it. It is great.
Over the Night with Matt Harrop. Monday through Friday from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern on SB Nation Radio. SB Nation AM.
I will say this about Reese's. I can't recreate that, even using Hershey chocolate bars. That peanut butter is like a special peanut butter. I've taken a Hershey bar and put it in with Jif and all this, just to try to recreate it, and I can't.
You sure it's not Gif?
Yeah, maybe it's GIF. The creator said it was GIF. It's on the Googles.
SB Nation AM with Tony D. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Are you wearing your hat too much to cover that hairline?
Well, yes, I am.
Go to forhims.com/cheer for help. That's forhims.com/cheer. Happy Turkey Day from all of us at SB Nation Radio. Now, back to more sports talk with Eytan Shander.
I'm coming in real late at the end of the break before we came back on the air, and I caught the tail end of that promo. And I hear Bobby Beats talking about ketchup on, because of the whole Pat Mahomes thing. So where do you stand on ketchup on all of that, like with Mahomes? Now, Mahomes takes it way too far with steak. But as far as ketchup on, was it the mac and cheese?
Correct.
That you guys were going back and forth on?
Yeah, I would never put any ketchup on mac and cheese. I understand, just talking to some of the people around here at the station, some of the guys, they were just saying, like, that's like a Northeast Coast thing, putting ketchup on mac and cheese. And
is it?
Maybe Midwest as well, but
don't pin that up on my region, man.
I'm just saying what they told me. I was like, yeah, we don't do that down here on the South. We don't put ketchup on mac and cheese. Steak, you just don't know better if you're putting ketchup on steak.
Wait a second. Who's selling you? Jake Assman down there, New Yorker Jake, selling you this lie that people up in Long Island that slather their mac and cheese with ketchup or something?
No, it wasn't him in particular. It wasn't Jake. But I guess, like, Matt has a enthused...
well, Matt's a Northeastern guy. He's a New York guy?
He's Washington, D.C.
Okay.
But yeah, he's an East Coast guy, and he loves ketchup. So I understand when he found out about Patrick Mahomes. I hid the info from him, actually.
Oh, my
goodness. Because when it was released, it was just the night before, and I knew about the Patrick Mahomes ketchup situation. And he had subtweeted me. He's like, oh, he's my hero. And I was like, hey, I hid this information from you because I didn't want you to go crazy about this situation. And the next night he did go crazy about the situation. And there you go, Eytan. You heard the promo of us arguing about ketchup and Patrick Mahomes.
Now, okay, let me preface this because I don't want to sound like I'm cornering or trying to trap you in any type of conversation. So I'll just put it out there, and I know people will judge me immediately, but I don't really do condiments at all. I mean, ketchup, I don't find a situation where I use ketchup. I mean, I get people will put ketchup on fries and things like that, but, you know, the best burgers, don't you want to taste the burger? I can't fathom putting ketchup on steak or anything that you would actually want to taste the protein. I feel like ketchup masks poorly seasoned meat. That's what ketchup is there for.
To give it the taste, huh?
Just to get by that blank canvas, right?
In a way. I mean, I'm a ketchup guy, a ranch guy, a mustard guy on hot dogs.
What do you put it all on? Thousand Island, outside of dressing, what do you put Thousand Island on?
Other than dressing, that's probably
like, you know, salad, I should say.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing I'll put a Thousand Island on. Other than that, if I'm eating a salad, but
okay,
yeah. As far as ranch goes, wings, I dip my wings in my ranch.
Okay, that's fair.
And celery and
but see, I love dry not dry. Like I mean, not because if they come right out of whatever you get them in, you know, the oven, the pan, the fryer, whatever, and you know, you get that juicy wing. So think about it, like turkey, for example. Let's just use this Thanksgiving since it is Thanksgiving. Larry Holder, columnist for The Athletic Nola, is going to join us. He covers the Saints as good as anybody in the business for The Athletic now, at Larry Holder. He's going to join us in 8 minutes. Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio with you. At Shander Shows, hey, get us on Twitter. And I'm fascinated by this because this is a conversation since Pat Mahomes opened up the door that has been going on around the country. And the thing with ketchup itself is one that I never can wrap my head around, like outside of specific things. And I get it, like with wings, you'll have ranch, something associated with it, or blue cheese. But turkey? Like, where is it socially acceptable? And maybe I'm wrong. And I've lived in a lot of different areas, and I've had family in other parts of this country. So I feel like there isn't a region that I'm not really familiar with, at least to the point in which I would talk around it, not specifically like I live there every day. I don't know where it's socially acceptable to slather your turkey with ketchup, Bobby Beats.
Yeah, I never put ketchup on turkey. I just ate turkey as itself. You know, if it was, you know, had some flavor with it, I eat it.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, take it a step further.
Okay.
And this is where I get into a lot of trouble because I feel like Thanksgiving should always be a buffet. This is a little PSA, a public Shander announcement for everybody out there, all right? If you really want to make everybody happy when it comes to a Thanksgiving dinner, you make it a buffet. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing negative or low about having the buffet. In fact, you're going to appease everybody because you can sift through the good and the bad, and you're not pressured. You're not forced to have something on your plate because the person who made it is hovering over you. Please try my beet salad. I made this. I put so much into it. And I'm just going with something that I think the majority of people would be like, maybe, beet's not that appetizing, but whatever it is that you can fill in the blank. So for me, where I get into a lot of trouble is because I know where I'm going, and a lot of times there are great cooks and chefs preparing these meals in my family or extended family. I don't want the gravy. I don't want the gravy on my turkey because it's so succulent. It's so fresh out of the oven, or in the case of a deep fried turkey that I had earlier today, I don't want it to ruin the taste of the bird and the skin on the outside. Does that make sense to you? I mean, I feel like I get into trouble a lot of times because people go out of their way to make their own type of gravy. You figure, hey, store-bought canned gravy, but that's where I run into trouble is I have to hold off on the gravy. Oh, you don't want to try my homemade gravy? And I'm like, no, I think it's a credit to the people making the turkey first that it is the gravy.
I got your angle because you don't want to. I mean, they put so much hard work into that turkey and making it and everything. And it's, like you said, it was succulent, it was juicy. So you just want to taste the turkey. You don't want to taste the homemade gravy or whatnot. You don't want to be that guy,
Yes, I feel awkward.
To take on the gravy. And if it isn't good, you're angry because you messed up your turkey with the gravy. So I get what you're saying.
Now, if there's a buffet and it's at the end of the line of the buffet, then I can sneak out of that line and not be as pressured to have some sort of gravy on my plate touching my turkey. That's all I'm saying. So we ridiculed and made fun of how awful it looked, and it did really look bad in the first quarter for the Skins, but they've since tied it up in a big play. We knew that Jay Gruden was not going to change the game plan. We knew that Jay Gruden was going to come out and continue to attack the Dallas Cowboys defense like if he had Alex Smith. In fact, if anything, maybe exhale a little bit. And to use the analogy here in Thanksgiving dinner day, to kind of loosen the belt a notch or two and let something fly with Colt McCoy. We saw that with a big play in the second quarter as they've tied it up 7-7 now with Vernon Davis catching, a 53-yard pass and catch, from Colt McCoy. So locked up down there. We'll keep an eye on that. But coming up, we're going to go down to New Orleans. Larry Holder covers the Saints for The Athletic, NOLA, and it's more than just Drew Brees going on right now. I can promise you that. Is there any doubt at all that the Atlanta Falcons can steal one today? We'll ask Larry coming up next. Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio.
Oh, come on. You got to make this. You got to make this. No. Oh, come on. Every week this happens. I can't.
Oh, calm down. You're going to give yourself a heart attack. If you want to win, then you need to roll with the pros at winwithsports.net.
That's right. Winwithsports.net or call 833-95-SPORT. That's 833-957-7678. Why stress all weekend? Enjoy your sports and bet with confidence by visiting winwithsports.net.
Do you ever wonder how we're streaming millions of movies on demand or doing our banking from the beach? And how are we watching a live mission from Mars? Smart business minds dreamed these ideas, and Amazon Web Services is how they built them. With the broadest functionality and the most experience, the leading enterprises trust the AWS cloud to build the next big idea. Are you ready to build it? Learn more at awsishow.com.
Dell's Black Friday sale for small business is on. Save up to 50% with massive deals on office essentials like computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors and the latest servers. Even other top brand electronics are on sale. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Quantities are limited. Dell's small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business needs at Black Friday prices. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/SB Black Friday. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Noted author, former chief medical correspondent, and Salonpas user Dr. Bob Arnott.
The human body has billions of pain receptors. Block those receptors with the anesthetics found in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus, and you'll have relief. Salonpas Lidocaine Plus contains 2 anesthetics, including the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. They numb aggravated nerves for effective, lasting relief. For relief, try what I use, Salonpas Lidocaine Plus.
In the silver box with the blue wave.
Shop Black Friday deals at Lowe's for big savings on the perfect gift for the tool lover on your list. Buy a DeWalt 2-tool 20-volt max cordless combo kit for just $199 and get a DeWalt XR 20-volt max oscillating tool kit free. That's a $139 value. Stop by or shop online at Lowes.com. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 11/22 through 11/29. Battery and charger not included with free item. While supplies last, U.S. only.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Waited to the last minute to do your gift shopping? No problem. Head over to giftingmap.com today to see the amazing curated collection of gifts and gifting ideas that the team has assembled for you. Giftingmap.com. Your map to great gifting. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us at SB Nation Radio. Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander.
The Nightcaps featuring the Saints hosting the Falcons. You've got desperation on Atlanta's side. You've got the MVP storyline with Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara as well. This Saints team just putting up points left and right in the NFL. We go down to New Orleans, joined by one of the best in the business. You want to talk Saints, you talk with Larry Holder. At Larry Holder on Twitter, covering them now for The Athletic in New Orleans. Eytan Shander, SB Nation. Larry, thank you for the time this evening. Happy Thanksgiving, sir.
You too. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So, looking at Drew Brees, let's start there specifically. You've watched him play up close and personal year in and year out. What's different specifically this year than years past right up through last season?
Well, I think you just look at the accuracy with the football, and it's something that we've known Drew Brees has been one of the most, if not the most accurate passer in NFL history already. Several times he's broken single-season NFL records for completion percentage, but he's going above and beyond this year. And look, he's only got one interception this year. And to me, it's just he seems like a guy who is smarter than everyone else. He's smarter than the opposing head coach, the defensive coordinator, the players on the field. He's like 3 steps ahead, it seems like, of everything that we've ever seen at all this season. So you look at it, and the pieces are the best offensive line.
Larry.
Mark Ingram.
Right. Sorry, you were going in and out. I think we got you back.
Yeah.
As far as Mark Ingram, I'm sorry.
Yeah, as far as, look, but he's just outsmarting everyone. And, oh, by the way, he physically still has the tools to get the job done, no question about it.
Yeah, are you surprised at that? And maybe surprised is too extreme of a word, but is there any looking around at colleagues as you're watching him thinking, from a mechanical, physical standpoint, and again, he's not asked to throw the football 50 yards down the field every other play, but still, he hasn't shown signs of breaking down.
Yeah, I think it's just, I'm just surprised any quarterback can last this long in the league. I mean, you talk about him and Tom Brady, but they're on the same boat, essentially, and yet, it seems like he's not slowing it down at all, and it's pretty just amazing to be that way. And you talk about like he's not having to gunsling everything all the time. Look, the offense is catered a little differently, and yet when Drew Brees has to drop it in a bucket to Michael Thomas or to Alvin Kamara like he did on 2 picture-perfect throws for touchdowns last week, he could still put what needs to be done. But look, I think they're all.
Larry's going. Okay, we got you. Sorry, you're going in and out again. Larry Holder joining us, columnist for The Athletic in New Orleans, Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio. Tonight, specifically with this game, did we lose Larry? Okay. See if we can get him back, Bobby. I appreciate that, brother. I'm looking at this with Drew Brees specifically, and then you go into tonight's game, and you think, how much desperation is Atlanta really dealing with? And you can look at their season specifically. See, desperation is a term that's thrown around way too much and way too loosely, I think, in this league, because you can apply it widespread. And that doesn't mean that it's inaccurately applied widespread. It just means that it's so convenient to say, well, a team that's 4-4 or a team that's 4-6 this deep into the season. Or all right, we have Larry back. Okay, Larry, I appreciate you coming back with us. Sorry, we'll get the technical issue lined in. I'm just looking at the sense of desperation tonight. When you're on the other side of it, you see how the New Orleans Saints have just cruised, and they really haven't shown any signs of taking teams lightly, at least not recently. And I saw it up close and personal as my Eagles got their ass kicked by the Saints. How much do you actually apply any real level of concern that the Falcons can come in here with a dangerous level of desperation?
I think anytime they play the Falcons, it could be a dicey game. It's just because how many years has, say, Matt Ryan and Drew Brees faced off? I mean, I guess going back to when Matt Ryan was drafted, like in 2008. So there's a lot of tendencies that people on both sides of the football understand. And it's always, like I said, these Falcons-Saints games, wacky things can happen. And look, it took the Saints coming back big in Week 3 to really, it was really that win that kind of like started to project them forward. And so, but still, I think the Saints. I wrote last week after the Eagles game to say you look at the schedule at the start of the season, and you say, all right, they need this barometer game, and maybe the Eagles would have been that, given that they were the reigning Super Bowl champions. But no, they are the barometer. Like, the Saints are the barometer. So I feel like the Falcons certainly know their season's on the line tonight, but I just don't see any. It's like the Saints get better every week, and I'm waiting for something to happen, but it never does. And it's the reason why they're one of the, if not the best team in football right now.
I'm just thinking of Walter White. I am the danger. I don't even know if you watch Breaking Bad. If you don't, then it's lost on you. But just thinking of that right away. Larry Holder joining me, Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio. Key injuries that we should be aware of tonight. Anybody as far as a late scratch heading into this game on the Saints side?
I would keep an eye on Traquan Smith. He had a big game last week, but he's questionable going into this game. Marcus Davenport has been out for the last few weeks, but he's practiced a little more over the last week and a half. I'd be surprised if he played at this rate, but you just never know. I think they might try to get him back for the Cowboys game. But still, yeah, Teron Armstead, their left tackle, is going to be out, and he's going to miss a few weeks. But I would keep an eye on Traquan Smith and Marcus Davenport. It's the only two draft picks they have left in the roster from actually this year's draft class.
What is it about Alvin Kamara that jumps out when you watch him up close and personal that still doesn't transfer over as much on TV?
Just his elusiveness. I don't know how he contorts his body and sheds tackles, and it's almost innate. I don't think you can really teach the way he moves with the football. Certainly a sharp guy, always in tune with Drew Brees, but it's not like he's 4.2 40 fast. He's just quick and slippery, and it's amazing. It seems like he could just be jogging. It looks like he's jogging, and he's just jogging past everyone, but he's not really jogging. It's just the way his body moves. It's remarkable, and you could point to some good running backs, of course, this year, Todd Gurley, but I would put him right up there with Todd Gurley because I think he's been able to run the football more effectively than maybe we even thought after last season.
Yeah, it looks like, and again, it's easy to focus, at least on the outside, to focus on his ability to move open field, catching the football, his hands, and as you mentioned, the elusiveness, but the dual threat that he provides. You're right. I mean, we need to start talking, and maybe he needs to do it a couple of more years, but I'm sure he reminds you of earlier backs, not just contemporaries, that were able to just maneuver so effortlessly through running the football and catching the football like he is. And again, you mentioned Mark Ingram at the start of the interview. To have a 1-2 punch like that, it's amazing that this team isn't scoring 60 points a game.
Yeah, and it's once they got Mark Ingram back, he missed the first 4 games for banned substance. And so once he got back, Mark Ingram's had back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. And
amazing.
It's like, oh, by the way, this is happening too. So, yeah, I mean, it's really come together. And that's really been a major key of when this thing started turning around last year with the dual threat. And you could put both guys on the field at the same time, and you can make an easy argument that Alvin Kamara is basically the team's number 2 wide receiver next to Michael Thomas. So, you put them together, and then, oh, by the way, you throw in third-string quarterback Taysom Hill, who does everything humanly possible. I'm waiting for him to be blitzing at some point on defense because he plays everywhere on offense, and it's just another wrinkle, and it makes this Saints offense this year even more dynamic than what we saw last year. And last year, they were a pretty dynamic group.
You mentioned Michael Thomas. I do want to get your thoughts on the defense and really how far this team can go on that side of the football. But with Michael Thomas, what discussion are we having about Michael Thomas as a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL based on everybody else that you can have that discussion as far as best wideout in the NFL?
I think you have to put him right up there with the Antonio Browns and DeAndre Hopkins and and Julio Joneses. And so, look, that's who he is right now. And it's not like we're seeing signs of any regression. He's progressing. I mean, his catch rate this year is unbelievable. It's whenever Drew throws the ball, he's going to catch it, and teams even know that, and they still get it done. So look, he's got to be up there with the best of the best in the NFL. It'd be a crime if he didn't make his second straight Pro Bowl. I assume he will, but it seems like even though more attention is paid to him, he gets even better. He's 6'3", about 215, 216. He doesn't look like this big guy outside of pads, but he plays big. There's a reason why the Saints traded Brandon Cooks because they felt like they could lean on Michael Thomas, and he has not let anyone down in that category at all this year.
Defense, Larry. Larry Holder joining us, columnist for The Athletic in New Orleans, Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio. We all expect Drew Brees MVP. We all expect the Saints home field advantage in the NFC and to make some noise in the playoffs. And I think a lot of people have them as a favorite to come out of the NFC alongside the Rams, of course. The defense, how confident are you that if pressed, this defense can uphold and really maybe even win a game in the postseason?
Yeah, I think this defense, it's getting better. There's no doubt about it. They're certainly improving. I think you're seeing improved play from Sheldon Rankins. It's been the most notable for him. He's third year, former first-round pick, and he's playing the part now. And so not all the pressure's on Cam Jordan. I like what they're doing at linebacker. Demario Davis has been worth the money. They went out and bought him in free agency, and he's come in and played very well. I think you see him secondary-wise with Marshawn Lattimore. They're starting to kind of improve. And it doesn't hurt when you have the best offense in the NFL. That puts pressure on opposing offenses. I feel like this unit might not be just like seven. They're not going to give up simply 7 points a game like they did last week every week. But they're starting to kind of get their mojo, create some takeaways, and you're starting to see the pressure put on other quarterbacks. So you add it all up, and like I said, this isn't one of the best defenses I've ever seen. But I think they've got to be good enough, and I do think that they're good enough. Like they can hang with the Rams. I mean, look, they made some plays against the Rams to slow them down, and that's all you need to do against that because you're looking at Rams, Chiefs, Saints. The formula is awesome offense, and the defense needs to just make a play or two. And the Saints have been making more than a play or two on defense, which is certainly uplifting for that group.
It would be totally shocking, I think, right, if the Saints came out and lost this football game. And I know you made an argument, and rightfully so, about the Falcons and the divisional opponent that they are. But just the way, it just seems, especially that tough loss at the Falcons last week, the way in which all this momentum is pointing towards the Saints just cruising. I feel like it would be a pretty big shock of all three games if the Saints were upset.
I would agree, but Saints fans know the Falcons well enough. Like I say, crazy things can happen sometimes.
Fair,
but look, it's funny. I was sitting next to some of the the Philadelphia reporters in the game that I've known for a long time last week, and I said, I'm picking the Saints by 20, and they said, I think it's going to be close, and then as it went, I said, did I mean 20? I meant 40. Like, so the Saints. I didn't expect them to win by 40. I expected them to win handily, but like I said, you never know with this series. But I anticipate the Saints will certainly win this game. I'm not going to say by 20 or by 20. I could see them winning by 2 touchdowns, but sometimes just quirky things can happen.
Hey, Larry, real quick on your way out, Thanksgiving dinner is always the best with the pie to wrap it up. So what's the best of the three, the apple pie, the pumpkin pie, or the pecan pie?
Oh, I'm going pecan pie, and we're pecan folks here in
is
New Orleans,
that the pie favorite?
Yeah, I'd say among those three, easily pecan pie. But I'm more of a in New Orleans Thanksgiving, I'm eating gumbo for dessert. I'm eating gumbo as an appetizer, and I'm literally pulling into the Superdome parking lot right now, and my stomach still hurts from all the insanity that I've eaten. So I'm wondering if they have another Thanksgiving spread in here, if my stomach's going to be able to take it, because I'm already overboard here.
Listen, good luck. All right, you've got a long night ahead of you. Larry, appreciate the time. Larry Holder, at Larry Holder on Twitter. Thanks, sir. Enjoy your Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, got it. You too. Appreciate you having me.
You got it. All right, we'll wrap up the hour. Eytan Shander. Yeah, he's got a point about the pecan pie. It is very underrated. I had a chocolate tart pecan pie earlier today for the first time with the infusion of chocolate. And I got to say, it blew me away. Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio.
The Break. How about this? John Calipari was giving his team some advice before this big-time matchup against Duke.
I keep telling you guys, you don't know if you're going to win or lose until you win or lose. So don't worry about it.
How about that advice that John Calipari gave his team? You don't know if you win or lose until you win or lose, so don't worry about winning or losing. That's unbelievable advice from John Calipari. You don't know if you're going to win or lose until you win or lose. Pretty nice advice by John Calipari. Really seems like the type of advice you want from your college basketball coach.
You cannot lose games in the NFL and still win.
Yeah, he stole that from Trent Dilfer, Ron, didn't he? He stole that from Trent Dilfer. Come on, John Calipari. You don't know if you're going to win or lose games until you win or lose a game, so don't worry about it. Great advice from John Calipari. Don't worry about it whatsoever.
The Break with Brian Barrett, weekday mornings from 10 to noon Eastern on SB Nation Radio. This is the gold standard.
At work, we had the old hot luck. Bobby Beats, nowhere to be found. Matt Harrop, nowhere to be found. It was a little early for you. Would you have ate one of my cookies? I bought them from the store. Don't worry, I didn't make them. They were pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies. They were pretty darn good. And I was the only one that ate them, so I took them back home.
Dude, I would have ate some if I came.
Well, thank you, Bobby.
The Gold Standard with Alex Gold. Weekday nights from 10 to 1 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. This is Straight Heat.
So Aaron Donald joins the Holy Cow, I'm Super Rich Club.
The Rams posted on Twitter a GIF of him signing the contract. It's pronounced GIF.
No, it's not.
It's pronounced GIF.
It's not. It's not peanut butter, okay? It's a GIF.
The creator of said concept said it was GIF.
I don't believe you.
It's on the Googles.
I don't care.
It's on the Googles.
It's not peanut butter. It's not a GIF.
That's what the creator said.
Well, I don't believe you. And if he really did say that, then I don't believe him.
You're doubting the creator.
Yes.
The guy who made one of the most glorious things on the internet,
Absolutely.
the GIF.
Just because he made something doesn't mean he knows how to speak English. GIF is not GIF.
It is to him, apparently.
Well, he might not know how to speak English.
Could be, but...
It's a GIF. It's not a J.
Anyways, they posted a GIF of him smiling ear to ear when he was signing his contract.
You're not allowed to say that word anymore.
Straight Heat with Patrick Creighton. Weekday afternoons at 5 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. SB Nation Radio. Here we go. Now you can get the latest news, reactions, and breakdowns on your favorite NFL teams with SB Nation's newest podcasts, featuring coverage of the Falcons from Falcoholic, the Bengals from Cincy Jungle, the 49ers from Niners Nation, the Dolphins from the Finsider, and more. Subscribe to any of these podcasts today on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. SB Nation, come fan with us. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us at SB Nation Radio. Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eytan Shander.
Coming up, final hour defending Kevin Durant briefly. And it's not going to be some long, deep expose into the defense of Kevin Durant's history or anything along those lines. But I feel like he deserves, at least in one isolated incident, more defense from the public than he's getting. There are more storylines outside of the 3 games going on right now today, your Thanksgiving holiday in the National Football League. And we'll touch on those with National Football writer John McMullen in the bottom of the final hour. And more on this pie discussion, because I'm getting on Twitter, and Shander shows how you get me here, that the apple pie is overrated. And I'm not here to argue with that at all. Eytan Shander, SB Nation Radio.